Today I put a 32-inch auxbeam light behind the grill of my truck. I think it looks really good. It's got this daytime running light thing. It's just a white LED all the way across. I can still disconnect it. It's hooked up to the same thing that powers these lights and the daytime running lights on these. I am gonna cut these off because I'm not a fan of how much amber's up there. If it was just the white lights, I'd keep it. But anyway, it did take some cutting. Auxbeam sells a smaller one. This one is 2.6 inches from front to back and 32 inches long. And if you put the brackets facing in instead of facing out, you can use the factory bolts, but it takes a little bit of adjustment, and I'll show you that in the video as well. So the way I have the feet on this facing out, it doesn't fit. So the bolts I'm talking about using are right here and right there. So if I line this one up, this one is way past. So I could measure it and then do some measuring, or I can just flip these things around. So I'm just gonna flip them around. Actually, I'm gonna measure them. Nope, I'm gonna flip them around because I'm gonna make this work. And if it doesn't work right away, I've got some aluminum, 1/4-inch aluminum. I can cut 2 little pieces off, drill holes in it, and then make this work. So it will work, and it will fit as well. I've measured, and I'm also hoping. So hope is a strategy. Not a very good one, but a strategy nonetheless. This is gonna work, one way or the other. I've got to take that other crazy light mount that I made out of the current grill because I know those bolts are going to hit it. So I'm going to do that right now. This is the bolt that came with it. This bolt has the same thread pattern, and if I have to go longer and put spacers, I can use that. So it came with all these different things. They're 4 different parts, but all the thread patterns are the same. So I can put like a couple of nuts or a whole bunch of washers in between, and I grabbed all the washers and stuff. So this is gonna work. I keep saying that. I'm just trying to will it into existence or into being, whatever. All right, I think it sticks out too far, but it's this brace here. There's a piece of plastic here. So I'm gonna see what happens. I do like where it's sitting. If I have to shave just a tiny bit off the back parts of some of these, I might consider that before I try to cut down some of this brace in the middle. I mean, this is just, this is where the motors are to turn all of these things, but the plastic in front, I mean, I see a hole through it right there, so. All right, so I'm thinking about cutting that piece out to get the light to fit in here. The other option is to cut a significant part of the back of the grill out, and I don't want to do that. I think this will be good. I'm just gonna do it. I've passed the point of no return. I'm doing this. I cut a small notch out of this piece. It's gonna go back in there. I drilled a small hole through this piece of plastic. It's just support for these things that go across. So you can see there's like a little bolt that goes back. So there's that. I didn't want to cut into this because I'm already like right up against those vanes. So I still want them to be able to open and close. I cut out a chunk of that so it can fit. Again, that's just supporting these vanes, so I'm not too worried about that. And then this still has plenty of rigidity. I mean, it is solid. It's not going anywhere. And then on this side, I didn't really have to do anything except for shave some of that off. So right now, I put the grill on. It just needs a little bit of space, like maybe a 1/4 inch just to about here. So I marked it with a Sharpie. I'm gonna try to very gently shave some of that down. Got the cuts kind of ready, but before I do anything, I'm going to secure this thing in here. That way, when I do bring the grill over and keep checking, this is where it's supposed to be. All right, so I had to do a little bit of bolt wizardry here. So this bolt was too long. It bottoms out in the hole here, so there's extra thread. So what I did is I put 2 bolts in here. So basically, these 2 bolts are squishing down on the bracket in the middle. And if you've ever had to try to lock 2 bolts together on a threaded rod, once you tighten them together, it's actually pushing the threads out so that they're pinching. So neither one of these will back out unless you get a wrench on both of them and break it loose. So these are solid in here. This isn't going anywhere. It's all the way in to the base of this. So the threads are all the way in there and this can't spin off. So this is, I mean, it is solid on there. It's not going anywhere. But that's the workaround I had to do because I couldn't find a bolt that was the right length. The perfect thing to do would be get like a stack of 7 washers, just the right length, get a bolt that's gonna be able to go all the way in there and tighten down, but this is gonna work. It's not going anywhere. And then if I try to put a wrench on this and back it out by twisting it, these 2 bolts are pinching so hard on this, it's spreading the threads out a little bit and it wouldn't be able to back out. You have to loosen these bolts before you can loosen, or loosen these nuts before you can loosen that bolt out. So this is gonna be good to go. I like that, just white. I don't know if you can see that or not, but yeah, you can. So that white light, I think that's a cool feature. And I had to mount it upside down like that because the wire's on this side. So I don't know if it would be better higher or lower, but that's where it is. I can't change it. Well, I could, I'm just not gonna change it because I don't want to run wire all the way across. All right, my battery died while I was doing the first part, so I kept working. I got the light mounted back behind there. I had to cut a lot of the plastic. It looks bad right now. I'm gonna get my file and really clean it up, but it's gonna be fine once I'm done with it. I'll round everything out so it looks good. But for now, it's in there, it's hidden, it's not obvious until it's turned on. So pretty happy with it. I'm gonna get everything wired up, go get a pizza for the kids, and then I'll do a video of the lights on. Overall, it's good. I'll turn it on so you can see how bright it is. So it's on auxiliary switch 6, which is 25 amps. The bar itself is 160, I think. It's under 200 watts. So it's more than enough to cover this and the pod lights up there, because 25 amps at 12 volts is gonna be 300 watts. So 84 for those and under 200 for this is definitely under 300 watts. Math in public is not my strong suit. And then these are just little LEDs. Maybe they're 3 each. I don't even think they're that much. And then you got the daytime running lights and those running off. So that's a 5 amp circuit, which gives you 60 watts. And it's definitely less than 60 for one long LED and a couple small ones here and there. And it hasn't popped any fuses or breakers. So we're good to go there. So I'm gonna turn these off. And then one other thing I wanted to talk to you guys about was I called the Ford dealership about the braces for the bed of the truck to give it that strength if you're gonna put a mount on there. I read some things that said it was going to be a warranty thing or a field service action. It's only going to be covered if you buy a Ford brand or Ford sourced. So Ford uses other brands, but if you buy a camper shell or a bed top cover or a rack from them, they will include the brackets and install them. If you're going to get one aftermarket and do your own setup and not pay an arm and a leg for a Ford setup, which they make good stuff, and I guess if you get it installed, it keeps the warranty, so I understand why people do it. But for me, I just want a manual rolling up, I think Back makes it. It's like an aluminum thing that rolls up. I'm gonna order it pretty soon, but Ford doesn't offer that, and I'm gonna install it myself anyway. So I'm just gonna buy those brackets. They're $160. I think to get them on, you gotta take the fender well off the inside of the back tires, because I looked under the truck and there is no getting to that corner of the bed of the truck from underneath. You've gotta get to it from the wheel well. So I'll figure that out when I get it. I'm gonna order them and have them brought to me. If I can't figure it out, then I'll pay the $180 to have Ford install it for me. But I'm gonna try it first. I've done so much other stuff on this thing, pretty sure I can figure that out. But that's it. Kind of a bummer that we've got to pay for those things on our own. Like most trucks, when you get them, you can put a bed rack on there and not have to worry about bending the freaking thing, but Ford wants you to buy it on your own and install it on your own. So it is what it is. That's kind of a small thing. Most people aren't going to put that on their truck anyway, so it's not a big deal. But for me, wanting to put an overland thing on the back, I could put it on my Tacomas, I could put it on my Jeep, I could put it on old S10s, no issues. But for some reason on this truck, I got to buy some braces, so kind of a bummer. I know some guys out in Australia are running racks on the back without those things, and they're working just fine. My concern is you have all that weight. when you're going straight down the road, no big deal. If you get in it carefully in the tent and you just lay down, no big deal. It's when you're driving around and the whole thing is going back and forth and you've got this like 80-pound tent 2 feet up above the bed rack and it's moving back and forth, all that weight, you get a whole lot of like foot-pounds. So it's 3 feet above the bottom corner, it's 100 pounds, so that force going back and forth, 300 foot-pounds, plus the inertia, and math is hard. There's probably a physicist that can tell you why it would break. But the Ford engineers seem to think if it's over 88 pounds, you have to have those braces. So seems to me it should be covered, but it's not. I'm gonna get them, I'm gonna try to install them. I haven't even ordered them yet, so that'll be within the next month or two. I don't have a rack yet. I wanna do the roof rack before I do the bed rack, so I've got a long list of things to do to the truck. But that's it for today. Got the light installed. I think it looks really good. I do wanna show you up close here how crappy of a job I did cutting. So there was some cutting involved, and you'll see it in the video I did, but I had to cut the actual grill a little bit, and I used one of those Dremels, and it heated it up and melted the plastic a little bit, so I'm gonna have to clean that up with a file. But my kids wanted pizza, so I had to put it together really fast and go out and get the pizza so that they would leave me alone. And they're right there, not leaving me alone. So anyway, that's it. I totally hosed this part up. I'm gonna get back in there and cut it at an angle so it doesn't look ridiculous and clean it up. But that's it for now. I'm pretty happy with it. It looks good. Don't touch my truck. Bye.
It's over!
All right, do you guys need something? Okay. I don't remember what I was gonna talk about. You can't watch me. Watch the YouTube video later. Don't stay in there. You're creeping me out. I don't know what to do with my hands.
Do you need me to stop recording?
No, I need you guys to leave.
No. Here.
Don't touch it. No, don't touch it.
Cut.
No, don't touch it. I want to do this, so shoo.
We're here. Action.
My name is Flabberdoopin. I put a light in my truck right here.
Cut.
No, don't cut. This is the light that I put in my truck, as you can see here.